Hey everybody, my name is Daniel, and this is why I gave Ready or Not a D-. Ready or Not stars Samara Weaving as Grace, a newlywed trying to find acceptance with her super rich, icy cold in-laws. The in-laws have made their fortune on games, whether it be board games or buying sports teams. So to gain acceptance in the family, Grace has gotta play a game. She draws a card, the card says hide and seek, but the object of the game is not to just find Grace, but to kill her. So she's got to survive till dawn while the family grabs all manner of assorted weapons to hunt her down. This one made me think of a lot of better movies, whether it be Cabin in the Woods, You're Next, Green Room, Clue. And the problem I've got with this one is that the premise I just couldn't get past. What loving spouse would bring their significant other into an area, a situation where you know in the back of your head good and well that that person could be at mortal risk, at mortal danger. And the movie doesn't have a strong answer as to why this is all happening. It's very wishy-washy. And then after that, I just found the movie obnoxious. The way the language flies out, the kind of obnoxious jump scares and thuds and like angry faces, it's very hammy, it's goofy, and it's not necessarily a problem that I don't like horror comedies. Evil Dead 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. The problem here is not necessarily in the recipe, but the cook. I just thought it was way too much. I thought the movie wasn't smart enough or inventive enough or clever enough to really back up that kind of indulgence that it allowed itself. And I noticed that a lot with the characters too. The dialogue feels like the actors are playing the writer, not the character, you know? Sometimes you'll watch an episode of Supernatural and you'll listen to Bobby talk about a deep-rooted Harry Potter reference, and I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know if that character would be into that the way that the show is it. But since the show has a big reputation for calling pop culture references, that's more of the actor playing the writer. And I felt that here too, that the writers were just trying to make a really raunchy, R-rated horror comedy, and the characters don't have a lot of deviation. There's a couple of them I do like. I like Grandma Yzma, just because that face is just glorious. You look at her and you feel the disappointment of 30 generations staring right into your artery. And then I like Discount James Corden, who's schlubby and made me laugh a couple of times. As for Samara Weaving, she's hit or miss. I love her scream. I've never heard somebody in a horror movie scream like Xena, the warrior princess, but it's kind of awesome. And for the most part, she's likable enough. I just found her to fall into the same traps as kind of the other characters do, where they're playing the writer. I don't want to be too harsh on Grace, but I think as a character, if I'm thinking about the Scream Queens I love, you know, Marion Crane, Laurie Strode, Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street, there was so much more to their character. There's so much more that was going on in their lives before they got to this movie. Whereas Grace, I found like she had that 3-step backstory. It's where did you come from? What is the trouble you've had? And where do you want to go from there? It's just kind of rinse and repeat screenwriting. There's this self-awareness that's going on. It's making fun of horror tropes. Like, somehow in a horror movie, every villain knows how to use every weapon perfectly. This one kind of makes fun of that. And for all the tropes this movie makes fun of, I found it stuck to so many more. And especially with Grace, she's running into the woods. Good idea. Where do you go after that? You hide somewhere indoors. If you're back in the woods, she runs into an open clearing where anybody can see her. She constantly leaves her weapon, leaves the gun, drops it. She doesn't check to make sure people are actually immobilized before she moves on forward. It just feels so derivative of the thing it's trying to make fun of. And you can't hide behind the fact that you know you're making a dumb horror movie because you're making a dumb horror movie. Do better. I may have a really unpopular opinion with this, but I just feel like if you're a fan of different kinds of horror movies like this, This isn't as funny as something like You're Next or Evil Dead 2. This isn't as smart as something as Cabin in the Woods. And it is definitely nowhere near as scary and thrilling as something like Green Room. So if you want to watch movies that are better than this, and you haven't seen You're Next, Cabin in the Woods, Green Room, etc., go check those out first, because I definitely think those are better examples of what this movie was trying to go for. But that's my time. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to keep hanging out and learning about movies with me, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But right now, it's time for you to choose your own adventure between these two movies. On this one, you've got my Blu-ray update for the month of August, where I give away a free digital code. And this is a review of The Peanut Butter Falcon, a movie which I loved. So, you've got a decision to make. Choose your own adventure, and I'll see y'all next time.